Have you ever landed a job and then discovered someone else at the same company is earning significantly more than you for a similar role? Like, I'm a Scrum Master and you a Scrum Master. And there you are, trying your best to keep your composure, to stay cool, but inside your mind is racing. Did I sell myself short? Is it discrimination? Is there a gap in my skill set? Is it this? Is it that? Stop. I have gone through and felt that too. Come to find out, there was a gap in my negotiating skill set. It's a lesson I learned from Dr. Chester Karras, the negotiating expert. The title of his book says it best. In business, as in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Welcome to Mastering Millionaires, episode number 3, Master the Art of Negotiation. We're going to equip you with the negotiation tactics that ensure that when you shake hands on a deal in the future, you're not just settling, you're winning by giving yourself a 100% raise potential. Welcome to the Scrum Academy podcast, where we turn Scrum practitioners into masters of their careers and champions of their bank accounts. I'm Grand Scrum Master Scott, and this is the 3rd episode in our Mastery in Millionaires exclusive series. We've tackled specialization and certify. We've expanded our agile sets. Now it's time to conquer the critical skill that can make or break your earning potential: negotiation. Let's elevate your negotiation game to match the mastery we've been building. Buckle up and get ready to take plenty of notes. It's time to turn dialogue into dollars and give yourself a 100% raise. I want to start out a bit differently today and tell you a story about one of my clients, students, friends, colleagues that I've helped to secure a 100% raise. I want to tell you the story first, and as I'm going through the story, hopefully you can see the mindset that's there. Mindset is invisible. You can see tool sets. For the most part, you can see skill sets, but mindset is invisible. You can have the tool set, you can have the skill set, but if you don't have the right mindset, everything has to come together. You need all three. Let's say her name is Amy. I met Amy years ago. Amy and I both was at this training to become an Agile coach by IC Agile. We want to be a certified Agile coach because as Scrum Master, once you have a few years under your belt, your next level of progression, for the most part, could be Agile coach. Why would you want to do that? More money. So it's obvious as to why we're there trying to upskill so that we can potentially give ourselves a raise. So during that time, I didn't know who she was before I met her. Luckily, we sat at the same table, and during the breaks, we would talk to each other, get to know each other. I was working for a big retail firm. She was working for the top 5 insurance companies of the world. Day 2, I know my contract is coming up for renewal in about 3 months. So I asked, any Scrum Master openings over there? They said, yeah, we do. Of course, the next question is going to be, well, how much do they pay? Judging by her response, the money wasn't that good. So I said, come on, spit it out. Tell me, how much you make? She really got this sad look on her face. Second day I met you. I know, I've only known you for 6 hours. And I'm asking you personal questions like that, right? Exactly. So I said, I tell you what, I'm making $85 per hour. That's lit up. She was like, and based upon her body language, I can see that she was making significantly less than what I was. I just didn't know how much until she answered the question. It was time to go back to class. It was like a 15-minute break. So the break saved her. But as you already know, the next break, I picked right back up on my question that I asked her. How much do you make? You never told me. I make $45 an hour. Wow. What? That's $95,000 a year, if that's an annual salary. She said, yeah. I said, maybe you should come and work where I'm at. $85 an hour is $187,000 a year. Well, I need to update my resume and things like that. Hey, I help. Whatever I can do to help you out. The class was over. We stayed in contact. Every time we would talk, I would always ask, you updated your resume yet? Sent that in the applications yet? No, haven't done either one. Now, to give you some more context, Amy has a teenage daughter that's a freshman in high school. And I can clearly see that Amy has failed for the illusion that she would like to have job security. An illusion, exactly. Are you beginning to see the mindset? This is about 3 months into us knowing each other and talking maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. Just catching up, comparing our different learning journeys and just sharing information with each other, as I do with a lot of people in my life. And every time we talk, I would always ask, shortly after, you get that application out? You got your resume updated yet? No. Hey, that little $45 an hour. Girl, you better come on over here in this world and get 85. You doing the same work. Now, a little bit more about Amy. Amy has been a Scrum Master for years for this insurance firm. So she's been a Scrum Master for quite some time. She has the tool set. She has the skill set. But as you and I can see, her mindset is not aligned with her goals and objectives. She knows she needs more money. That's why she was in the class in the first place, to upskill so that she could increase her income. But her way, her approach was doing that was, well, I'll play it safe and stay with the company and see if I can grow inside of the company. If that opportunity is there, I'm all for it. But if you're looking at taking care of your family, in her case, her daughter is a freshman in high school, wants to go to college, that's going to be a huge expense. So do you stay secure at this job that maybe you'll get a promotion in 4 years? And if you do get a promotion, it may be $5,000, maybe $10,000? Or do you identify your value and go out and put yourself on the market and get more money so that you can live the lifestyle that you want, desire, and deserve? Which one are you going to do? That was an easy decision for me. Because again, there is no job security anymore. Those days are gone. Unless you work for the federal government. If you're in the United States, you really got to do something like stupid to get fired from that job. Other than that, everybody else in the private sector, especially here in North Carolina, where we in a right to work state, you can get let go for any rhyme or reason without explanation. So she knew this. So after about 6 months, the tonality of my conversation began to change. Amy, you're not serious about bringing in more money to your family. Let me tell you what, I can't keep talking to you. I said, it's draining me to see you making that little bitty money when I know you could do more. You know you could do more. It's killing me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I said, I tell you what, when you're serious, call me back and we'll get started on the process. So about 3 months went by. She called me back and said, Scott, I'm ready. I said, are you really ready? Or are you just talking this time? So no, I'm really ready. I said, okay. Then I walked her through my 7 things that I'm getting ready to identify to you. But before I get there, let's walk through her journey when she got serious. The mindset changed. Yes. What I've learned is people will change for 2 reasons. It's either going to be from motivation or 2, desperation. I hope you choose the first. You motivated to change. You motivated to bring more money into your life, into your family, into your household before something tragic happens. It will rain. We know it's going to rain. We just don't know when it's going to rain and how long the rain going to be here and what kind of damage it's going to do when it comes. Bad weather and bad times will come. So the question is, what are you going to do? And how are you going to be prepared? You and your family be prepared to weather the storm that will come. But it will come. So she's ready now. We go through the 7-point strategy that I'm getting ready to go over with you. Now I've changed jobs. I'm working at a financial firm. I turned on to it. Hey, they paying this amount of money. Why don't you come over here? We hadn't talked in about 3 weeks. This is when I was going face to face. I'm at work and I'm on my computer and I get a Skype message. The Skype message is from Amy. I'm thinking somebody hacking my computer, right? Hi, Scott. That's all she said. I'm like, is this the Amy I met? I'm just going all the way back to make sure that this is the right person, right? So is this the Amy I met in that agile coaching class at such and such a place and doing such and such a weekend? And we've been talking for the last 8 months? Laughing emoji back. Yes, that's me. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I say, hey, let's do lunch. Let's catch up. So at lunchtime, we talked. And of course, I had to know, how did it go? I said, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. You finally are getting your worth. I said, how does it feel? She said, Scott, it feels so good. It's been a huge burden lifted off of me. I'm like, I know. It's just sad that it took you 9 months to get to this place. You could have been here in 90 days from the time we talked at that class, that particular weekend. But I understand you have to go through the process. Now I asked her, I said, hey, how much money were you able to negotiate? She said, Scott, you won't believe this. I said, girl, please tell me right now before I hit you. Please tell me right now. As you can see, I'm on the edge of my chair. She said, Scott, I was able to negotiate $90 an hour. Oh, look at God. She said, not only that, she said, my stretch goal, we'll talk about that in a few. She said, I even told them my stretch goal and I got all of my stretch goals. Like, what? Okay. Like what? You know, as a contractor, we don't get paid vacation. I'm like, yes, I know that very well. Well, I was able to negotiate 1 month of paid vacation. She's from Africa, and she typically takes a month vacation around December, the holidays, as most people who are here in the United States working and their families living in other countries. So she negotiates that. She said, guess what else? I said, there's more? Yeah. Please do tell. She said, I was able to negotiate remote only work. I said, you get to work from home? She said, yeah. I said, why are you here today? Oh, I had to come in and do paperwork and I wanted to come and see you. I said, how did you know I was going to be here today? I looked at the schedule. Oh, that's smart. Very nice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I love to see. This is why I love the campaign that we have at Scrum Academy to help people give themselves 100% raise. You do realize she got 100% raise and now she's all the way in the 6-digit club. And I want you to be all the way in the 6-digit club. In fact, I want you to hit the 7-digit club. That's what we're working on now. Yeah. First thing first. Now let's talk about how we're going to help you get a 100% raise. First thing you need to do is to understand your worth. I'll say that again. The first thing you need to do is to understand your worth. I had her to do a self-assessment. Amy, this is your homework. You listen to this voice. You listen to this video. This is your homework. I want you to evaluate your skill, evaluate your experience, any successful projects that you have, big or small, doesn't matter. Write it down. And how they benefited the company. After going through all of that, Amy and I came up with the best one out of everything that she identified. And here it is. I led a project that reduced time to market by 30%. And the next thing we're going to do is benchmark. We're going to compare your salary to what is the average? Is your salary below the average? Is it at the average? Is it above the average? But it's important to know what the average is. So at that particular point in time, I'm talking to Amy, the average annual salary for a Scrum Master was $125,000 here in the United States. And remember, she's only making $95,000. Keep that number in your mind. We're going to come back to that in a moment. So she did a self-assessment. We're going to quantify something that she did and also how it helped the organization. Now we got to come up with a value proposition. This is looking at all of her skills, her experiences, the successful projects she did. How did it benefit the company? We're looking at that same list that she did in the initial self-assessment. And now we're going to come up with a value proposition. The value proposition is a clear statement that encapsulates your unique contributions to the team, to the organization, to the project, whichever one that it is that you're working on, maybe all of them. Amy's value proposition is, I've pioneered an integration of Agile with a remote working model that increased team productivity. Now, this value proposition is really helping you to really dissect and learn more about yourself. The resume is going to get you the interview, but once you get to the interview, now you have to defend your resume. And I hope you're going to tell them even more than what's actually on your resume. They can read what's there, so hopefully you're going to tell them something new. You're saving some other wild things for the value proposition to talk about in the actual interview or evaluation, whichever one it may be for you. Out of everything we looked at, that was the one thing that she was super duper proud of. And when she was articulating that, you could see in her spirit, just like I'm talking to you, you could see and feel the passion. And when she talked about that, yeah, that's the thing that the interviewer needs to see, touch, feel. That's the thing that your boss needs to see, touch, feel if you're out in an evaluation. I'm giving you both. That's why I used Amy. Because in Amy's case, I helped her to try to get a promotion and get up the ladder in her own job at the insurance company that she was at, which didn't happen. But that's okay. We're going to use the same strategy for interviewings. It's applicable either place. The second thing of the 7-point strategy is negotiation basics. Let's start off by defining negotiation. According to Oxford, negotiation is dialogue, a discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. Now, the next thing I want to do is to give you a quote by Mr. Thomas R. Colosi from his book titled On and Off the Record. Quote, most people know intuitively that if they are to be convincing, they need to be confident. If they are to be confident, they need to be comfortable. Comfortable, confident, and convincing are what I, Thomas R. Colosi, term the 3 C's of negotiation. So let me ask you this. Are you comfortable? Are you confident? And are you convincing in your delivery? Whether it's an interview, whether it's an evaluation, whatever it is. Do you have those 3 things, those 3 elements of your delivery? That's part of your persona. Which one do you not have? Which one do you think you do have? I'm asking you. And I also asked Amy this question. I had my observations, but I wanted her to tell me what she thought about herself so I can see it. This is still the preparation stage. In negotiating basics, I want you to write down a list of everything that you want. More money. Okay, not only that, how much more money? Amy's case, she's making $95,000, and earlier we identified the average annual salary for a Scrum Master is $125,000 in the United States. So right off the bat, that number is going to at least be $125,000 for her. At least. That's low. That's the floor. Okay. What other things you might want? Again, take this time and think about everything that you want. What kind of benefits do you want? Full paid health care, 401k plan, opportunity to learn. You're going to get certifications that they will pay for. Whatever it is, write down every single thing you want. That's the exercise. Now let me introduce you to BATNA, B-A-T-N-A. Stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. Now that you've listed everything that you want, now we're going to begin to play games with that. Do I think I can get $20,000? Yes. Check. Okay. Well, what if I don't get $20,000? What's the next best thing? Oh, okay. I would want better benefits if I don't get the money I want. I would want this. See, now you're looking at options, just as it implies. What is the best alternative to a negotiated agreement? What's the best alternative for you if you do not get your $20,000 that you're seeking to get, if that's your number? And that is your BAT number. So in Amy's case, she's going to walk away. She had her minimum number. And if salary negotiations fall through, she was prepared. Her BAT number was, I just keep looking. Why? Because she already had a job. She's already working for, remember, the insurance firm. So it's much easier to get a job when you already have a job. That also benefits you as well, because now you have built-in confidence because you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you're looking for a job and you already have a job, you automatically comfortable. Because if you get the job, great. If you don't get it, still great. And that's going to be reflected in an interview situation. Now, that's an example of that. Now, I will put a link to that in the description just so that you can research that even more. Once you come to the masterclass at Scrum Academy, we're going to deep dive into these concepts and even more in that particular class. Now, let's work on the mindset. The mindset we're working on is we want to provide a win-win situation, meaning that when we get to the table and actually do the negotiation, whether it's for the evaluation, or whether it's for a job you're trying to get, our mindset is we looking for it's going to be a good thing for the company and it's going to be a good thing for me. We're not taking the mindset of it's all about me. No. It's going to be win-win. And let me give you an example of a win-win situation. So let's say you're at the table. We're not there yet, but let me give you an example. This is us playing it through our minds. We role playing different scenarios in our mind before we get to the table so that we practice this so much through our mind with another friend, a colleague, or whatever. This is you role playing this before we get to the actual live event. So one of the scenarios could be, well, what if I don't get the money that I'm looking for? Now what? This is where your BATNA come in place, your alternative, your option. Okay, if you can't give me my $20,000 that I want, maybe you can do this. So let me give you Amy's example. Negotiating the salary increase based upon achieving certain performance milestones was her win-win situation. In other words, you can't pay me $125,000, but you can do $115,000. Okay, I tell you what. What is a key performance indicator that you have? Well, what about this? What if I could increase the team's whatever metric that you're going to get by 10%, 20%, 30%? Once I achieve that, can I get an instant bonus of, let's say, $10,000? I use that on several occasions, and that's very, very effective. So, okay, I take your little $115,000 right now. And then once I hit this key milestone, this key performance indicator that you identified and we both have agreed upon, once I hit that number, you're going to give me a $10,000 bonus. Instant, no questions asked. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, fantastic. Also, be thinking about effective communication. The best negotiators have great communication skills, and also they have high emotional intelligence. So begin to practice effective communication. Use assertive but respectful language. An example of that, instead of demanding a raise, propose a discussion about career progression and compensation. Now for the third point, preparing for the talk, whether it's an evaluation or whether you're getting prepared for an interview. These steps are the same. They're applicable on either one. But you're going to prepare for the talk. If you're already employed for a company, let me give you that example first. The question is, what is the optimal time to talk about money and to talk about giving yourself a raise? Well, here's a good idea. Let's say you just completed a project, a very high profile project, company-wide notoriety, and you and your team just successfully completed that. Oh, it's a great time to go talk to your boss. I'm thinking about the movie Jerry Maguire right now, where Cuba Gooding Jr. at the beginning of the movie, he had the skill set, he had the tool set, but he had a very bad attitude. And Tom Cruise, a.k.a. Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr. was trying to get more money, telling Jerry Maguire, Jerry, I need more money, man. I need more money. And then Jerry Maguire got to the point where he told him, look, Cuba, your attitude sucks. Yeah, you got the skill set, you got this, but your attitude sucks. Then at the end of the movie, Cuba Gooding Jr. played his last game and he went all out. Now, if you've seen that movie, did you notice what he did as soon as the game was over? Well, now he's getting all kind of notoriety because his attitude's better. So all the news reporters want to get around him and interview him. That was a heck of a game. That was beautiful. Wow, 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 wow. Jerry Maguire was right there. And then he saw the owner of the team, the person responsible for the money. He was around. He laid eyes on that person. He was like, in other words, signaling, you know, this is going to cost you, right? Yeah, it's going to cost you. Yeah, it's going to cost you. And the person he signaled to was like, yeah. I know. So Think about that and going to your boss after the celebration of the project that y'all just successfully completed. Schedule a meeting with your boss and talk about it. That's a great time. But I just had my evaluation last week. Great. Go ahead and plant a seed for next year. Hey, boss, I just finished this amazing project. What can you do? I tried that with Amy. That was one of the strategies. She just had a major project that she had just completed. And she was like, Scott, what do you think? My evaluation is not before 6 months from now. I said, I would recommend you go talk to your boss now while it's hot, while it's fresh, while everybody's feeling good. You know how it is. Everybody feeling good. Sometimes they ready to celebrate even monetarily when everything is good. So take advantage of those opportunities if you can. We tried to take advantage of those opportunities, but it didn't work out for her in that particular case. Let's move on to the next strategy. Documentation. So in Amy's case, she just finished this project. She went and talked to her boss about possibly getting another raise because the project was so high profile. It was so visible throughout the organization, and she led to this achievement. Didn't happen. But the next thing she did was to document. Document everything that you do. We all forget. A lot of times we do a lot of wild stuff, and when it comes time for our evaluation, if we don't write it down, I don't know about you, but I miss a lot of stuff that I did. We do a lot of wild stuff, right? So big, small, or indifferent, get in the habit of writing down every achievement that you have done with your team. Okay, if you want to go even further, I would even tag what was the contribution to the overall company in terms of that initiative, that achievement, if you have one. Document that as well. And when you get to that one-on-one, if you full-time direct hire and you're doing your evaluation, that way when you get in front of that person, you can just bring out your whole list of things you've done, and you can figure out the ones that you really want to highlight. Again, you got your whole list out, and your manager can clearly see you've been busy. You want me to go through all of this? Because I'm thinking like this. Whether you're in a job interview trying to get the job, you're going to have to answer the proverbial question of, why should I hire you? I look at the same thing as an evaluation. And when you're trying to get more money or you're trying to maximize the percentage of the pool of money that's available, you still got to answer the proverbial question of, why should I give you a raise? So if you go in there armed and well prepared with like a scrolling list of things that you've done, if I'm your madam, I ain't got time to go through all of that. We only have an hour. I can see you've been busy. I can see you did an awful lot of contribution. Okay, I see. Say less. I like say less. Understand the company's policy. Know the norms, know the limits of your salary structure within your company. This is if you full-time direct hire. Example, beware of salary bands and promotion cycles. Make sure you're in the know in terms of what that looks like. Are you in an environment where they pay based upon merit, number of years of service? Is there a percentage there? Know these things so that you won't be surprised in a negative fashion to learn that, hey, you ain't getting a raise for the next few years. And while I'm on that point, here's one thing I want to talk about. If you don't negotiate your money up front, you might not see a raise for years. And another person can come right behind you as a contract worker or even a full-time direct hire who has these negotiating skills that we're going over today, and they do a good job of negotiating their salary. They could potentially make $5, $10, $20, $30, $50,000 more than you. And you're going to be like what we talked about in the introduction of this. And you just got hired. Your friend just came on board 2 weeks later, and they're making $20, $30, $40,000 more than you. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that doesn't feel good, dude. I feel like, hey, I left money on the table. All those things that was going through our head, was it the company's fault? No. Their objective is to get what they need to solve their problem at the lowest possible price. And our objective is to solve their problem at the maximum price. So in negotiating, where are we going to meet in the middle that's in agreement to the both of us? Where is that? This is where you're doing your prep work. This is what we're doing now. The organization have already done their prep work. They know before they meet you, if it's an interview, what they're going to offer you. even in an evaluation. Oh, before they even go through that whole spiel, when I was a manager, I knew what I was going to give you before we even had the evaluation. It didn't matter whether you sucked or whether you was stellar. I knew what the pool of money was before I even conducted the evaluation. And I'm sure most managers know that. Navigating the negotiation. You already wrote down all your skills, experiences, and you got your talking points together. You got the things that you want to highlight. You practice this, you role played it, you ran different scenarios through your mind. You know what the dollar amount is that you want to have. And if you don't get that, you're going to pivot and go over here. Okay. And if that don't work, you willing to walk away. You know all these scenarios. So now it's time for your evaluation. It's time for your interview. Let's make it happen. Some things you want to think about before you get to the actual negotiation. Role play the scenarios. If you have a significant other, maybe you use that particular person. Or practice talking to the mirror. I've done that a lot. Still do that with Toastmasters. And a lot of speeches I do, I talk to myself in the mirror. I'm looking at my body language. I'm looking for comfortable. I'm looking for confident. I'm looking for convincing. I'm looking for the 3 C's in myself. I'm looking at myself in the mirror to make sure that my body language is projecting those 3 things. Prepare yourself ahead of time that when you're in the actual negotiation and navigating through the negotiation, be ready for objections. Be ready for anything on your resume to be questioned if this is an interview. Be ready if you're in an evaluation of the thing that you list, your contribution to that team. Be ready to defend that. Oh, I thought so-and-so did that. No, that was me. No, so-and-so didn't do that. No, that was all me and my team. Mm-hmm. So when you in the interview, when you're in the evaluation, that is your time to shine. If your team did that, that's great. You could give a shout out to your team, but keep in mind, this is your evaluation. So you need to figure out how you're going to highlight your contribution on that team to get that project to where it is. Make sure you highlight that. Don't be afraid to highlight that. There's a time to talk about the team, but remember, look around. The team is in the room with you when you have your evaluation. The team is in the room with you when you have this interview. Exactly. So use the team wherever appropriate, but make sure you single out and call out you because it is about you, okay, and your contribution within that. Practice active listening as you're navigating the negotiation. Okay, listen for cues. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're not saying. Read their body language. Because 93.7% of communication is nonverbal, according to some stats. So read body language. They're definitely reading your body language. That's why I'm practicing in the mirror and making sure I'm meeting the 3 C's. Yeah. Are you? Making sure we're on the same page. Now you've done all this preparation. You're navigating through the negotiation. We're in the negotiation. You're filling this out. You're reading body language. They're reading your body language. You actively listen to what's going on. You actively listen to what's not going on. You got a feel for how it's going. Now let's talk about closing the deal. Once y'all agree on something, if you agree, based upon your background, you may be willing to walk away if they can't meet the money or some of the other things that you have thought about prior to getting there. If it's a no deal, don't try to make a bad situation a good deal. You know before you get there what you want. And if you don't get what you want, keep it moving. Keep it moving. So I'm sure there's plenty other thousands of other companies out there. In fact, I know it is. So when you get to a point, speaking of the interview, where you feel comfortable with the deal that's on the table, summarize the agreement. Recap what was agreed upon to avoid misunderstandings. I've had that in my past. I've heard something in an interview, or maybe I thought I heard, I know I heard, but you know how we play it off to reduce conflict, right? I thought I heard this. No, I didn't say that. I will bet my life on it that you said that. No, I didn't say that. Are you sure? So recap what was agreed upon just in case if somebody have selective amnesia. I have seen that. Here's Amy's example of summarizing the agreement. Now, she just completed this project. She was full-time direct hire at the insurance company. She went and talked to her boss shortly after the project was over because it was a successful project. It was high profile, a lot of visibility. So that was our strategy. Let's go talk to the boss now. She did. Nothing happened, but that's okay. She planted a seed for the future. So what did that seed? Okay, here it is. She's in the meeting with her boss. Let me just recap what we agreed upon just to make sure I'm hearing what we agreed upon correctly. So we in agreement that upon the completion of the upcoming project, we'll revisit the discussion of my compensation. Is that what you said? Yes, that's what we said. Okay, great. That's for an evaluation. Now, if we are in an interview, I do the exact same thing. Okay, let me get this straight. You offering me whatever the number is, whatever you decide is a great negotiation for you, all this prep work, you there now live with the interviewer. Let me recap what was said just to make sure I don't have any misunderstandings. You said that you're going to pay me $90 an hour. I'm visualizing Amy in that interview, right? Try to keep her composure, right? Exactly. Yeah. Let me get this straight. Let me confirm what you just said. We are agreeing that you're going to pay me $90 an hour. We are agreeing that I can work remote. We are agreeing that I'm going to have a 1 month paid vacation so I can go see my family during the holidays. And there was some other perk she got too that I forgot about. I can't remember what it is right now. But it was another wild perk. I'm like, dang, wow. I mean, you hit them across the head. But guess what? She didn't because they were super duper excited to have her. And she was super duper excited to get the money and all perks that she asked for. Oh, that's right. I told you that I would tell you about stretch. What is a stretch goal? Well, if you've been in Agile and Scrum long enough in different frameworks, you've heard that in sprint planning, depending upon what environment you're in. What is a stretch goal? Well, you have a sprint goal. The sprint goal is created in sprint planning. And sometimes in some environment, and some teams may say, can we do a stretch goal? Well, what's a stretch goal? Well, your sprint goal is, let's say, to do 10 product backlog items. And a stretch goal would be, we're going to focus on getting these 10 done, but we may get 12 done. So 10 is the goal, 12 is the stretch goal. Do the same thing in negotiation. So that's what she meant by, and Scott, I got all my stretch goals. So she wanted $25,000 extra. Now she wanted more than that because I gave it a number. I said, no, you're going to ask for $90 an hour. She looked at me like I was absolutely crazy because I'm still working on her mindset. In her mind, in her body, in her aura, she did not believe she was worth $90 an hour. I knew that from day one. I knew that my biggest challenge would be to help her get over all mine, get out of her way and go get her money. And you go get your money. So I told her at our last meeting before she had that interview, I said, if you do not ask for $90 an hour, don't ever call me in. Really? Yeah. Don't ever call me in. Because you're killing me. We can't fathom you not making the money that you need to make. Take care of Tanya. I say, I've seen too many people that happen to, where they stayed loyal to a company at the sacrifice of their children. And now their child is in high school wanting to go to college. In the middle class, you in that zone of you don't have enough money where you can pay for your child to go to college, and you make too much money to get any type of Pell Grant or anything like that. So what do you got to do? Maybe you can get a loan, but if you overextend it, you may not be able to get that. So not everything is guaranteed. So this is the kind of thinking that you should be doing right now, because as a parent, I can't imagine, how can you not think about stuff like that? How can you not do whatever it is you need to do to set your child and your family up for the best possible position? I can't think of anything otherwise. And for the people that has happened to, that makes them feel that small, that they didn't do the planning necessary to provide an opportunity for their child to go to the school of their choice. Meanwhile, their child had to start off at a community college, work at some local place. And mom and daddy could have did something about that. I've seen that too many times. At this point in time, she called him Uncle Scott, right? Single parent mom making $95,000. They're going to pay it out very well. I know that. I can see that. But I get that she's so into doing what she thought she needed to do now. And you got to think about that too, but you also got to think about tomorrow. Because tomorrow's coming too. We got to focus on today, but we also got to think about tomorrow. I would have talked to her again, but this is me showing hard love. Here's how you know you got a good coach. A good coach ain't going to tell you what you want to hear. A good coach is going to tell you what you need to hear. That's how you know whether your coach is good. Your coach telling you what you need to hear. And then you combine that with I'm a teacher as well. When I teach, if it's not like a wait what moment to you, if I don't challenge your thought process, challenge anything about you, to me, I'm not doing a good job effectively as a teacher. If I don't challenge your current beliefs and perspectives. As Scrum Masters, we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Closing the deal. Summarize the agreements. In case if somebody gets selective amnesia. Show gratitude. Express your appreciation for the employer's time and consideration. Example, thank you for considering my request and for the opportunity to discuss my role within the team. If you want to go the extra mile, then do some type of written confirmation. So before you left that meeting, you had verbal confirmation that you're on the same page. And then now before you leave, you're going to ask for written confirmation. Request a follow-up email summarizing the agreement. Example, if you don't mind, could you document our verbal agreement and for clarification and accountability? See, that shows them a lot. That shows them that you're thorough. That shows them you detail. And that shows them you about your business. Who wouldn't want a person like that? You showing them a lot in that interaction. Let's go to our last point of the strategy. Long-term negotiating strategy. Always continue relationship building. So I'm thinking about if you interviewing and you got the job, or a friend, colleague, or it could be a recruiter. Some recruiters are taking me out to lunch once a month. I do the same thing to them, all of them. And once a month, I call them and say, look, what you doing for lunch? Let's go out for lunch. Let's go out for dinner, whatever. Bring the whole family. And I treat them, why? I'm showing gratitude, building that relationship with them. I know their significant others. I know if they have children, if they're married. We know each other like that. That's all about building relationships because still most jobs in the world are fulfilled by people who know somebody else. The recruiter is my liaison into the organization. So if they have an opening, you know who the first person they're going to think of? They're going to think of Scott. They're going to think of you. Why? Because you built that relationship with the recruiter. There's many people out there that just use the recruiter to get the job, and you don't call the recruiter back until your contract is up and it's time for you to get another job. You see, you have no relationship there. But if you meet your recruiter on a regular basis, building relationships, they always going to have you at the forefront of their mind. So the best opportunity to come by, you're going to get the call first. So always think about that. Now that's from a contractor side. So let's say you at work and you trying to get a raise, work yourself up in a company. Same thing. So you had this interview with your boss, build other relationships. If you're on a team that you have a project manager, when I was a project manager, I knew everybody within the organization. I was like the go-to person. Scott, I got this problem. What do I need to talk? Oh, you need to go talk to this person. Such a tell I sent you. Yeah. So if you got a project manager in your organization, they know an awful lot of people as well, and they connect you with who you need to talk to. Begin to build those relationships. That is still the best way you can step up the ladder and make sure that you employ. Always be open to feedback. Seek feedback on how you can continue to grow within the organization. Ask for a development plan that aligns with your career goals and compensation expectations. Preparation for future negotiation. Keep a record of ongoing achievements and learn from each negotiation experience. Once the negotiation is over, at some point in time in the next 24 hours, sit down and write down play for play what happened while it's fresh on your mind. So that way you can look at it and study it from the standpoint, did I communicate what I wanted to communicate? If I didn't, what do I need to change? What was the feedback I got? How I'm going to tweak? How am I going to incorporate that in what I'm doing? How can I prove to them that I took their feedback and I'm actually working on it? How can they see that? Or would they be able to see it? So these are the things you should be asking yourself, because I don't know about you, but I'm the type of person, if somebody asks me for feedback, it's probably have happened to you. If I had anybody ask you for feedback, ask you for your advice on something, you spent an awful lot of time to put together a nice package of information for this person because they ask you. And you took a lot of time to give them a very detailed response. And you could also see clearly that they didn't do anything with your feedback. Now, guess what? Now, let's visualize that person come back to you and ask you another question, ask you for some more feedback. What are you going to do? Well, you're probably going to give them feedback, but you're probably not going to go all out like you did the first time because you thought they were serious and you really wanted to help. You probably do the bare minimum because you saw what they did with the last feed. Don't let that be you. Exactly. Humans. Oh, yeah. I just remember the last thing that Amy had negotiated. Check this out. When I coach, mentor, or consult, my fee is $25,000 per hour. I don't know in the world I forgot that because her bill was $75,000. So we had 3 hours of billing time from the time we started this process to the time we ended. She was just planning on paying me out of the new contract that she negotiated because she still had plenty of money to do what she wanted to do. And hey, $75,000 out of $187,000. Well, of course, that's gross. Still, she come out good. But check this out. She put a resignation in at the insurance company, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh, you can't go anywhere. Oh, my goodness, what can we do to keep you? She called me. She said, Scott, they want to negotiate. I said, okay, here's what you do. I talk about that in one of the next 2 episodes, all talking about the money. So I told her what to do in that case, and she ended up working as a consultant now for this insurance company. She worked out a fractional contract. I talk about that at a different date, different time. So now she has 2 jobs, one paying her $90 an hour, and she was able to renegotiate the other one paying her $100 per hour for 4 hours per day. Still making more money, less time. Are y'all tracking? Very nice. I know it was something else. Wow. She got everything that she'd asked for and wanted. But she was an asset to the company. You are an asset to your company. And it's sad sometimes that it's like you don't know that until you put your resignation in. Then, oh my goodness, it's like they want to roll out the red carpet for you now. Like, why didn't you do this for the last umpteen years that I've been here? Why you didn't do that in the evaluation? Because in the evaluation, they told you budget constraints. Well, who the hell is budget constraints? I don't know them. I don't see their name on my check. Budget constraints. We're going to talk about that more in the next 2 episodes. And with that, we close our 3rd episode on Master the Art of Negotiation. With these strategies in hand, you're now better equipped to advocate for the salary and opportunities that you deserve. As we close this session, remember, every successful negotiation starts with the belief in your own value. That's why we started with that, right? Exactly. It's not just about getting what you want. It's about ensuring a fair exchange of value for your hard-earned expertise. If the strategies we've shared today have empowered you, spread the insight by sharing this episode with your entire network. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to continue your journey with us at Scrum Academy. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll dive into yet another golden strategy to give yourself a 100% raise. I am Grand Scrum Master Scott, reminding you that your words have power, especially at the negotiating table. Keep refining those negotiating skills with the 3 C's. Be comfortable, be confident, be convincing, and you'll be amazed at the doors that can open. Until next time, keep negotiating your way to the top, because that is exactly where you belong. Stay tuned for more insights that will help you rewrite your professional narrative. Until our next episode, keep building your negotiation mastery. It's one of the most powerful tools in your agile sets. Decide today that you're not going to leave any more money on the table. I'll see you soon. In the meantime, Be agile, do Scrum, and be super duper legendary with your mastery, your terms, and your success.